There are people who enter your life loudly, and there are people who enter quietly and leave you changed forever. This is not a story about witchcraft, not a story about rituals, not a story about evil women or innocent men. This is a story about access, about what happens when you open your life, your body, and your secrets to people you never bothered to truly know, because some connections don't destroy you immediately, they simply sit back and watch you destroy yourself. Rain drizzled softly over Victoria Island. Not the heavy Lagos rain that floods streets. The quiet, patient kind. The kind that watches. A black Range Rover rolled slowly into the parking lot of a luxury apartment complex. Inside the car sat Kola Adebayo, 32, tech entrepreneur, clean beard, expensive watch, tired eyes. He stared at the building like it had personally betrayed him. His phone vibrated. Unknown number, you don't know me, but if you value your life, stop sleeping with people you don't understand. Kola frowned. Another message followed. Start with the woman sleeping in your bed tonight. Kola's heartbeat thudded louder than the rain. He looked up at the building again. Then at the dark screen of his phone. And whispered, "What nonsense is this?" He stepped out of the car anyway. Big mistake. 6 months earlier, Kola's life looked perfect. His startup just closed a major funding round. He moved from a small apartment in Yaba to a penthouse on the island. Money started coming fast. And when money comes fast, so do people. That was how he met Zara, Tommy, and Renee. They called themselves best friends. Lagos socialites. Instagram models. Influencers. Everywhere they went, heads turned. Zara, tall, soft-spoken, mysterious. Tommy, loud, playful, life of the party. Renee, calm, intelligent, always watching. They entered Kola's life through a rooftop party hosted by a venture capitalist. Tommy spilled champagne on his shirt by mistake. Zara apologized for her. Renee smiled without saying anything. By the end of the night, Kola had their numbers. By the end of the week, he had slept with Zara. 2 weeks later, Tommy. A month later, Renee. Separately. None of them knew about the others. At least, that's what Kola thought. To him, it was harmless fun. No commitment. No emotions. Just vibes. After all, he was young. Successful. Why not enjoy? What he didn't know was that the 3 women shared everything. Including him. Inside a minimalist apartment in Lekki Phase 1. Zara stood in front of a mirror. Renee sat cross-legged on the bed. Tommy lounged on a chair, scrolling through Kola's Instagram. Tommy laughed. He posted the car again. This guy really loves himself. Renee replied quietly. He loves what the car represents. Zara adjusted her hair. And he loves women who make him feel powerful. Tommy smirked. So. Whose turn is it this week? Renee checked her phone. Mine. Zara nodded slowly. No emotions. No jealousy. Stick to the plan. Tommy tilted her head. Sometimes I wonder if we're going too far. Renee's eyes lifted. You remember what happened to your sister, right? Tommy's smile disappeared. Zara's jaw tightened. Renee continued calmly, this isn't about pleasure. It's about balance. Silence filled the room. Then Zara said, he's perfect. Tommy whispered, rich. Lonely. Reckless. Renee concluded, and completely unaware. They were not prostitutes. They were not witches. They were not scammers. They were something far more dangerous. They were collectors. Not of money. Not of souls. But of secrets.
Kola's life starts shifting. At first, the changes were small. Kola began waking up tired even after full sleep. He lost interest in food. He became irritable. Then his business began to slip. A major client suddenly pulled out. An investor accused him of hiding information. His CTO resigned without explanation. Kola blamed stress. Blamed pressure. Blamed enemies. He didn't blame the women in his bed. Until strange things started happening. One morning, he woke up with scratches on his chest. Deep. Like fingernails. Zara claimed it was passion. Another night, he heard whispering in his room. Renee said he must have been dreaming. Tommy laughed and said, "Maybe your ancestors are complaining about your lifestyle." Everyone laughed. But Kola didn't. Then the dreams started. He would dream of standing naked in a dark room, while three figures stood around him. Not touching him. Just watching. Taking notes. When he tried to move, he couldn't. He told Zara. She kissed him and said, "Stop overthinking." But something in her eyes looked. Satisfied, Kola received an email from an old university friend, Femi, who now worked as a private investigator. Subject: Random question bro, strange request. Do you know 3 girls named Zara, Tommy, and Renee? Kola froze. He replied, yes. Why? Femi responded, where did you meet them? Kola explained. 5 minutes later. Femi called. Kola. Those girls don't exist. What do you mean? I ran facial recognition on their photos. Same faces appear under different names across 3 states. Different social media accounts. Different backstories. No childhood records. No parents. No NYSC. No school history. Kola laughed nervously. So what are they? Ghosts? I don't know. But every man connected to them in the past 5 years has experienced one of 3 things. Silence. What 3 things? Financial ruin. Mental breakdown. Or death.
Kola's mouth went dry. Femi continued, and most of them were sleeping with more than one of the girls. Kola whispered, they don't know about each other. Femi said softly, they always say that. That night, Kola invited all 3 women to his penthouse. He told them it was a small party. When they arrived and saw each other, they weren't surprised. Tommy smiled. So, you finally noticed. Zara tilted her head. You look scared. Renee sat on the couch calmly. Kola shouted, who are you people? Renee responded, we're women you slept with. No. I mean, what do you really want from me? Zara walked closer. You already gave it. Kola felt dizzy. Gave what? Renee stood. Access. Tommy added, you don't understand intimacy the way you think you do. Zara placed a finger on Kola's chest. Every time you sleep with someone, you exchange more than fluids. Renee continued, you exchange patterns. Trauma. Intentions. Desires. Damage. Kola shook. So you destroy men for fun? Renee shook her head. No. Zara said quietly, we study them. Tommy added, we document them. Renee concluded, and we expose what already exists. Kola screamed, why me? Tommy's eyes darkened. Because men like you think bodies are disposable. Zara whispered, you don't ask who someone is. Renee said, you only ask how they look. Silence. Kola collapsed to his knees. Please. How do I fix this? Renee stared at him. You don't. Renee leaned closer. Nothing supernatural is happening to you. Kola looked up. What? Zara said, we didn't curse you. Tommy added, we didn't poison you. Renee explained, everything falling apart in your life is a result of choices you already made before you met us. Kola was confused. Renee continued, your business had hidden accounting issues. Your partner left because you were sleeping with his fiancée. Kola's eyes widened. Zara added, your investors lost trust because you leaked confidential information when drunk. Tommy smiled. You told me everything. Renee concluded, you were always a collapse waiting to happen. Kola whispered, then what was the point of all this? Renee replied, we show people the version of themselves they refuse to see. Zara said, you treat intimacy casually. Tommy said, so we entered your most vulnerable space. Renee finished, and watched who you became. Kola started crying. So the dreams. The weakness. Zara shrugged. Stress. Tommy added, guilt. Renee, fear. Nothing mystical. Nothing magical. Just exposure. 3 months later. Kola sits in a small apartment. No penthouse. No luxury car. His startup is gone. But he's alive. Sober. Working a modest job. Trying to rebuild. He receives a message. Unknown number. You survived because you were willing to face yourself. Another message follows. Many men choose denial instead. Kola types, who are you? No reply. He locks his phone. Looks around his simple room. And whispers, from now on. I choose carefully. Intimacy is not magic, but it is revealing. Every person you let close enough to see you unguarded, sees things you don't even admit to yourself. Kola didn't lose his life because of 3 women, he lost it because he treated access like entertainment, and accountability like an inconvenience. Some people don't come into your life to love you, they come to mirror you, and sometimes, the scariest thing isn't being cursed, it's being seen clearly for the first time. Choose wisely who you give access to, because not everyone who touches you with harmless intentions.